Did your military experience influence your thinking about the war?
Yes and no. Um, my military experience tells me that unfortunately war is a necessity of our day and age. Well, it's actually a necessity of all time. A lot of people see war as usually always a bad thing, and it's not necessarily a good thing, but you have to look at the big picture. What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to do? So yeah, I mean, my military experience kind of does change my perspective on war. What was the second half of that question again?
Um, did your military experience influence your thinking about the war and about the military in general?
My military experience, I mean, yes, of course it changed my ideas about the military in general. A good example is yesterday I was looking at an article about Okinawa, Japan, and how they want to put an airstrip into Camp Schwab. Big part of it is because they're trying to close down the air base of Fukushima. But because of what I know that Fukushima, the air base, was there long before the Okinawans built up around it. The mainland Japanese and other foreign investors are the ones who really want that base to move so they can recover that land so they can make money off of it. And it's kind of a similar thing up in Camp Schwab. There's a lot of hotels that use that bay for tourism, so on and so forth. And they talk about the killing of the reefs. I've been out there snorkeling in the reefs, and the area that they're trying to actually put it in has no impact on the reefs themselves. So a lot of times the stories get misconstrued, and because of my military service, I understand that there's a lot more dynamics involved than what they simply tell people just to get them riled up and get them upset. So it makes you stop and actually question things a lot more than what people think or tell you on the surface.
Do you have any habits that you still do today from being in the military?
Nothing that I didn't have really before the military. I guess for my service, I don't know if it developed early on or if it was something before, but I tend to be a little bit of what I call CDO, which is OCD in the correct order. Because you can't have OCD, it's got to be CDO. But I've learned to also kind of curb that. It's taken me a long time, so I think my military service kind of installed a discipline, organization, cleanliness that a lot of people kind of either take for granted or don't do, period, which I notice the vast majority of people just kind of are able to let things go. I have a more difficult time doing that. So I guess that's kind of something that's stuck with me and probably will be forever.
How did your service and experience affect your life?
I wouldn't be where I was today without it. I am more than thankful for the opportunity to serve. Not everybody can do it, especially in the Marine Corps. There's a very small percentage of Americans that are in the military, and out of that very small percentage, it's a very, very tiny percentage that's in the Marine Corps, which is one of the hardest branches to get into. And looking back, it was a day-to-day, regular thing for me, but other people don't. They see it and they don't really understand it, and it's hard to explain. You just it becomes part of you. And so there's a lot of things that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have had my kids if it wasn't for the military. And I was heading down a very bad path, and the military kind of took me off of it and put me on the straight and narrow.
Is there anything that you would like to add that we haven't already covered?
I would just say when it comes to the military, a lot of people misconstrue things. One of the things that I always try to tell people about the military is not there for war. We're not there to go out and fight everybody. The biggest thing that we're there for is a deterrent. And when people see that, they know that we're there and ready. It used to stop them a lot, just the idea of knowing. You know, they used to, in Somalia, they used to call us the white sleeves, because that's the way the Marines roll their sleeves, and the black boots. And they feared us. And so those types of things actually made it a lot easier for us when we went to different places. But now I think in a big part due to the technological era, people have more information, so they're not as afraid. And so our power as a deterrent, as just a deterrent from the fear of, you know, our history and our past and what we've done and the great things that we've accomplished in the name of America and freedom. People understand that, you know, who we are and what we are a lot better now, so they don't fear us as much, which is unfortunate. It's really great for the American public to always want to know what's going on and have accountability. Sometimes it's not necessary. There's things better left unsaid until a later date and time, because all we're doing is taking away the fear, stripping away that little piece of power that we had that made it a lot easier and saved lives by having the media constantly involved, by having information out there for people to know. Yeah, it's good for you to know, but sometimes you don't need to know. You don't necessarily want to know.